Good evening from Sharonville, Ohio, here at the Jake Sweeney Auto Mall Stadium for the ICRC Kickoff Report, week 2 of our program. We're here for Mason and Princeton tonight, and we've got a good show ahead of you. We're going to have Bill this week, so stay tuned for that. I've got some ICRC community notes coming up next.
Where's your emergency?
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to Princeton High School. I'm Logan Dyer for the ICRC Kickoff Report. Here we're going to talk about some of the ICRC community schools and what they're doing this week. First, as we are at Princeton High School, Mason, number 1 and 2 in the conference, is taking on Princeton tonight. Mason is ranked number 8 in the GMC. Princeton's ranked 2nd in the GMC behind Middletown. Lebanon 2-2 on the season. They are looking to get a rebound against Taft this week. They're going to rely on Daniel Wallace, who has 371 total yards this season. They're actually playing Little Miami. My bad. I'm sorry. Mount Healthy 3-1 on the season with a huge win last week versus Taft. They're on a 3-game win streak. They're averaging 29 points per game. The Owls will travel to Frenwick tonight. North College Hill 0-2, looking for their first win of the season. They play Woodward tonight. Milford 3-1. The Eagles play West Claremont tonight. They are looking to. The Braves are 1-0 in the. They're 1-1 on the road this season. Number 4, Caden Bailey is 2nd in receiving yards with 334 yards and 6 total touchdowns. Indian Hill looking to improve their streak to 2-0 with a huge win last week. They play on the road at Finneytown, and the Warriors are looking to get their offense in gear. They're relying on their backup quarterback and have been shut out the last 2 games. Harrison's 4-0. The Wildcats, a huge win against Indian Hill a couple weeks ago. They are playing at Edgewood, or Clinton Massey, or they play Clinton Massey. St. Bernard Elmwood Place, 3-1. The Titans are averaging 27 points per game. The Titans are in 3rd place in the grade division, and they play at Norwood Friday night. And, of course, Princeton here at Princeton against Mason tonight. They're 3-1, and they are looking to repeat as GMC champions. We'll be back with Bill Bretz next.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires. Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
All right, our first item of business is a presentation, which is a swearing in of a new officer.
A Princeton mayor with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas. Brings it himself inside the tent. Touchdown, Marymount. From the top of the key, Anna Habra ties the score.
Welcome back to Princeton High School. My name is Logan Dyer, joined by the legendary Bill Bretz. Bill, welcome to the set.
Does legendary get me more pay? I just want to know that.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It gets you a lot more pay.
In that case, then thank you very much, Logan. It's good to be here. And I want to say before you get started here, Kyle Evans was supposed to be here tonight. He had a little family emergency. Kyle, we hope best for you. And I got called about 45 minutes ago to take over for Kyle tonight in the game, which I wasn't planning to. But, hey, you know, that's cable television.
It's showbiz, right? That's
it.
That's what happens. You got to be ready for the call-up anytime, any place.
Exactly.
But, yes, definitely, Kyle, we hope everything's going well with you. And like Bill said, Kyle, our original host, was not able to make it tonight. That's why I'm stepping in as the host. I'm usually just the analyst, right? So we're going to get right into our questions here with Bill because I've got a lot of questions for you. It's the first time I got to meet you, so
okay.
I'm excited. So I've heard a lot about you, right? So my first question is how long have you been involved in public access media?
That's a good question. This is my third year. I'm getting involved in it, and I got involved in it in an interesting way. I was a middle school teacher at Norwood Middle School for about 29 years. I started in 1974. I don't know, a lot of people know a couple. I'll give you a couple little trivia things here. Number one is Norwood, when the high school was built in 72, was the second school in Ohio to have a TV studio. So they had a TV studio already there at the school. Second thing is cable television, as we know it, basically started down in Norwood with Time Warner Cable, which is now Spectrum, of course. And so Time Warner had the first cable operation down there. I was the public address announcer for the basketball games during the 70s, early 80s. And they decided they wanted to get some more programming on public access. So they asked the head basketball coach if he would do a basketball show each week. Well, he came up to me and says, they want me to do this show. I don't want to do it by myself. Would you do it with me? I said, well, I guess so. So that's how I got started. They actually had, Time Warner had a studio there in Norwood. We did the game down in the studio there in Norwood. And then the rest is history, you might say.
Awesome, good deal. How many years have you been involved with ICRC?
I was with Norwood Cable through the 1980s for the most part. Probably early 90s, I guess, maybe mid 90s. I kind of expanded out. I lived out here in this area, and somehow got involved with somebody at ICRC and started doing stuff for them. So probably mid to late 90s. I think I remember doing basketball in the late 90s. So maybe that was about the time.
Give me a favorite moment in your broadcasting career that you life.
I think tonight's interview is probably my favorite. No, that's a good question. So, gosh, I've had so many good things happen over the years, so many good people to work with too. over the years. But I think we went through a string in the early 2000s, which Mount Notre Dame girls basketball were the team to beat in Ohio. They won like 4 straight championships, state championships, and we covered them extensively during that time. We had so much fun covering that team. It was such a great team over the years. We had the opportunity to do the state semifinals for Mount Notre Dame 4 different times, and I think that was over the years of being with ICRC. So it was pretty cool doing that.
So my next part of that question, any memorable that you've made over the years since the mid-1990s?
Well, I think it goes back to a football call.
Okay.
And I worked with a couple of guys, Dave Terry and Dwayne Reed, for several years, and we did a 3-man broadcast. Usually, I would do sidelines or go back and forth on that. I think the one game, Reading was in the state, I want to say regional finals, and I'm not sure what the team was. I'm thinking it was Brookville, and they had a great running back in Deshaun Wynn. And they had a great receiver in Charlie Vample. And they did the old hook and ladder play and got a touchdown to win the game. And that, to me, was one of the more exciting moments I've seen in football. It was pulled off perfectly by them. So that was probably one of my better calls.
Perfect to the T, right?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
And you don't do that very often
No, you don't.
in football. And I got to tell you, Dwayne Reed, who used to do games for us, and Dwayne was great. We called him Coach. Dwayne would get, now Dave Lapham gets excited in Bengals game.
Of course.
Dwayne Reed was the same way.
Okay, awesome.
Dwayne was going off the charts there with that, but it was a fun moment.
I strive to have a Dave Lapham moment at some point in career, so maybe one of these days I'll be able to have a Dave Lapham moment.
Yeah.
Tell me about what got you into broadcasting, and this will probably be the final question because we've got some games to pick. We're going to pick 8 football games next.
Okay. All right.
But I want to know what got you into broadcasting so many years ago. Like you said, back in, for 43 years, you've done public access media. You've done broadcasting ever since.
Right.
Tell me what got you into broadcasting.
I think, doing a public address announcing for Norwood High School and getting me into that show that one time with one coach. And, I think that's what got me going because I thought, well, this is interesting. And a lot of people start off behind the camera. Mm-hmm. And I had an interesting start of in front of the camera. And then the next year I started doing football and basketball. I got very interested in television. And then we did a lot of things with the TV studio there in Norwood. I took graduate classes in communications at Xavier in the 1980s. And because I wanted to learn more behind the scenes, what was going on and how to do stuff. And that led to a 6-month internship at Channel 5 with Channel 5 Sports that I did in 87. So I think, that just got me interested. And then from that point on, I almost had a decision to make to get into TV at that time. But I thought, I have a nice steady job being a teacher, so I'll stick with public access. So I stayed with public access from that point on. So that was it.
Awesome, good deal. Well, if you're down, we're going to pick some football games.
Okay.
Have you done you've watched College Game Day before, right?
Oh yes.
So you know how this is going to work.
Okay.
We're going to pick some football games. I don't have a mascot head for you, so you can't put one on, like Lee Corso, right?
I think I have a mascot head on right now.
So we're going to pick some football games coming up here next.
Okay.
Just a couple teasers of what we're picking. We're picking Moeller St. X tonight. We're picking Mason Princeton. And we're picking LaSalle and Withrow and much more coming up next on ICRC-TV.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown water, stir, drown again, then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
All right, our first item of business is a presentation, which is a swearing in of a new officer.
A Princeton mayor with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas. Brings it himself inside the 10. Touchdown, Merrimont. From the top of the key, Anna Habra ties the score.
Back at Princeton High School, my name's Logan Dyer, alongside Bill Bretz, our special guest this week. Kyle Evans couldn't make it out tonight due to a family emergency. We're about 50 minutes away from kickoff. I got the big board in the background here that I can see. So we're gonna pick some games, partner. We're gonna look at 8 different games.
Okay.
Anything can happen. It's an upset city, maybe. So, but I'm taking New Richmond over Roger Bacon.
I'm going to agree with you on that, and the reason is I looked at that game too earlier. Roger Bacon's kind of struggling this year. A few weeks at ICRC football, but they are struggling a little bit this year. And the big thing is that game's at New Richmond.
That game is at New Richmond. You're correct. So, New Richmond over Roger Bacon.
Yep.
Easy.
Okay.
All right.
We'll go with that.
Our next game, Baden at Hughes. Now, I looked at this game, and I thought, okay. One of my coworkers for the Reds, he works for CPS, Cincinnati Public Schools, and I called him. I said, hey Willie, what's going on with this game? How are both these teams looking? And he told me that, Hughes is looking good, but Baden's looking better. So I'm going to go with Willie's mindset there. I'm picking Baden over Hughes.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing just because those GCL teams, they play such tough non-conference schedules, and they get in their league and start just beating up on each other. And so I think that's, even though it is a road game for them, I think we'll take Baden.
All right. Our next game, Lakota West at Middletown. Now, Middletown's 4-0 on the season. They're looking to stay perfect here in Week 5 of the high school football season. I don't think that happens. I think the Middies will be beat tonight by a really good Lakota West team. Now, Lakota West, one of the storied programs in the state of Ohio, and especially in Cincinnati. I am taking Lakota West Middletown in a touchdown.
Yeah, of course, Lakota West came in here a couple weeks ago and got beat by Princeton, which I think really shocked the Firebirds on that one because I don't think they were expecting that. So, yeah, Middletown's good. They're 4-0. They're having one of their best years ever. But I kind of agree with you on that one. I think Lakota West thinks right now they can't lose any more this season, and they're way up in Harbin's right now too. And so, yeah, I'll go for West.
Lakota West, all right, good deal. As the Mason Comets get ready to take the field for practice behind us here, or behind the cameras rather, our next game, the game that I've been looking forward to picking, is Moeller St. X. Now, these ranks that I'm about to give you are per maxpreps.com. Moeller ranked number 6 in Ohio against St. X, ranked number 7 in this huge conference matchup. Both teams can put points up. I'm taking Moeller in a close one.
That will be a close one, and I thought about that when you said that game. I thought about, you know what, maybe St. X in an upset, but I tell you what, that Moeller team's good. They came in here and I mean, they beat a very good Princeton team here, and I just think Moeller's just going to be too tough. I think I think they're going to go back to the state championship again.
So Crusaders over the Bombers. Our next game, LaSalle at Withrow. LaSalle's coming in undefeated. Withrow coming in 0-4 this year. They've played a really tough match, a really tough 4 weeks. I again spoke with my buddy Willie, and he kind of gave me a little bit of insight. Withrow will need to step up the rush against LaSalle if they want to maybe upset LaSalle, but I'm actually going to take LaSalle over Withrow.
I'll make it real simple. LaSalle.
LaSalle.
That's it.
Simple. That's as simple as you can get it,
yes,
right?
There you go.
All right. Our next matchup, as the wind is taking my paper away, is going to be Lakota East at Fairfield. Both teams entering 2-2. Fairfield scored more than Lakota East. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I just put that down in my notes as a talking point that Fairfield can put up points against Lakota East. I'm going to take Fairfield over Lakota East. That's at home at Fairfield.
All right. Well, now we're finally going to differ with you on this one.
Uh-oh.
East came in here last week. They lost in the last second field goal here by Princeton. And I think they're in the same situation I think West is right now. They need to almost win out right now to be in the season. And I think John Kitten was not happy with that game, couldn't be happy with that game. And I know both teams are 2-2. They're playing at Fairfield. But I think East has got they're going to be out to win. So I'm going to pick East.
You're going to go with Lakota East. All right, there's our first differ. Our next matchup is 4-0 Wyoming, the Wyoming
Cowboys.
Cowboys, that's right, Cowboys. I forgot to put that down. Against 3-1 Taylor, Yellow Jackets. I've got Taylor. Both teams are coming in off blowout wins in Week 4. Should be a high-scoring game. Should be an interesting game. We're going to keep tabs on all these games. But, again, I'm taking Taylor by a field goal.
We're going to differ on that one, too. I've been involved with CHL for many, many years. And basically the story is in the CHL, the football championship goes through Wyoming. And, Wyoming had one of the longest win streaks in the state of Ohio a couple years ago, was just broken last year. I know they're on the road, but this Cowboys team, they're not as good as the teams have in past years. But I think Wyoming wins in a close one. I'll go by a field goal. I think they win in a close one.
Okay, so both picks by a field goal. I like it. That's always great. And now our final game, the one that we're at here tonight in Sharonville at the Jake Sweeney Auto Mall Stadium. It's the Mason Comets and the Princeton Vikings. The Comets are coming in 1-3, 1-2 in the conference play. They're going up against a good Princeton team, 3-1 overall, 3-0 in conference. I like the Vikings for this game. I think that if the Vikings can keep up the scoring, they have to keep scoring back, touchdown, field goal, whatever, it may be, take the points when you can. I think Princeton's going to win this game. I think it might be a close one, so we'll take it in a close one over Mason. However, Mason can score. They're coming in off a loss against Hamilton 7-3 last week in Week 4. Only putting up 3 points for a field goal. So I think they're going to look to bounce back, but I think Princeton's a little too tough for them.
I'm going to agree about that, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think Princeton's going to win handily tonight. They've had 2 close games the last couple weeks against Weston and East, and I think they are due for a breakout game. They've won 12 in a row over the last 2 years in the conference. Their last conference loss was to Mason. So, but I think this Princeton team right now is just going to be a little bit too tough for this for Mason to handle tonight. So I'm going to take the Vikes tonight.
Yeah, if we go back to 2023, Princeton over Mason 20-3 last year in the regular season. So we'll talk more about that tonight at 7 o'clock when me and Bill Bretz are calling tonight's game. He's on play-by-play. I'm doing color. This is the ICRC Kickoff Report, and that's all we've got tonight. We hope to have you guys back here next time. I believe we're looking at October 25th. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll have some promotion scheduled for that for our next ICRC Kickoff Report. I'm hoping that Kyle can be back with us next time. Bill, thank you for stepping in and doing a lot of work with us tonight, and I look forward to meeting you up there in that press box to call a game with the legendary Bill Bretz.
Thank you, Logan. Appreciate it.
All right. My name's Logan Dyer. Everybody here at ICRC-TV. We'll be back at 7 o'clock for Mason and Princeton here in Sharonville at the Jake Sweeney Auto Mall Stadium. Stay tuned.
All right, our first item of business is a presentation, which is a swearing in of a new officer.
A Princeton mayor with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas. Brings it himself inside the 10. Touchdown, Merrimont. From the top of the key, Anna Habra ties the score.